Oh, it's Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. It's time for Proper Royals Live. I got Jason and Whitney Epps from Beauty and the Balls, and it's the best time of the year. There's this little time in January in Minnesota that we get this thaw. It's like fake spring out there. It's like 48 degrees today, man. You guys want to hit the pool or something sometime soon? I don't know. Stick around. We'll have fun tonight. What's up, everybody? I hope that you're doing well tonight. Man, the sun came out. It was just really nice. I had the doors open at the car wash. Didn't have to worry about things freezing up. It's like invigorating. There's just like these short days. They're just all gray and everything's cold. It's so nice to get, a little bit of sunshine. Shipped a bunch of packages today. I got my REDLINE stickers out again. That was nice. Anyway, I hope that y'all are doing well. I'm feeling good about things. Not a whole lot going on to tell you about today other than this weekend, finally get back to vending. Got the Cold-Blooded Expos show, the Minneapolis show. That's this weekend. If you are in the Twin Cities area, the upper Midwest region, and you haven't been to the Minneapolis show, you should come check it out. I will be there, but bigger and better than that. There's vendors like JSA will be there, and MBK Pythons will be there. Soda Balls will be vending as well. And I think some of the guys from further south are coming up. I don't know if they'll be there for sure this one, but I know Troy at Best Dress Balls. He's either vends or comes to that show a lot. Chris from Epic Style, same thing. So anyhow, it's a good hangout. Danny and Melissa from Schumann. It's just a fun weekend. Tim Simon will be there as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. If any of y'all are watching, I can't wait to hang out for a little bit. It's a one-day show. It's a Sunday afternoon, but it's packed. Get in, get out, do your business, make some money, buy some snakes. It's all killer, no filler kind of thing. There's no downtime on those one-day shows. So I'm excited to get back. It's the first show of 2025 for me, and the first one I've done since mid-December, which is kind of a long break. I cut out some of the shows that I just had been underperforming after doing them all year last year. So it's kind of a catch-22. Like, I know I'm making the right decision, but it feels like I'm slacking, or I'm not building my brand, or trying to get revenue, or whatever it is. So anyway, I'm excited to be back, and it's a really good show. So I'm looking forward to it. It'd be a good one to kick off the year with. So come see me this weekend. Come see some of the local other vendors, see what's going on in our region. There's some really just terrific breeders here in the Twin Cities area. So hope to see y'all. Come say hi. Don't worry about if you buy anything from me or not. I would love for you too, but just come say hi, and love to meet you. So hope to see you there. Let's see, before I forget about it, Cold-Blooded Cafe. Speaking of cold-blooded things, there's Cold-Blooded Expos and Cold-Blooded Cafe. Cold-Blooded Cafe is a frozen rodent supplier, and they do a lot with me and Proper Royals. They sponsor the other show on Thursday mornings, as well as my other Instagram page, which is called Proper Pythons. You could check that out. But most importantly, what I'm trying to tell you about is they have reset the Proper 11 promo code. So if you haven't used that recently in the past, 2-3 weeks, if you haven't used it recently, it's been reset. So come check it out. Get yourself 11% off of your next frozen rodent order. I think you'd be happy that you did, even without the discount, but they'll give you a little something to come check them out, I sent a bunch of sheds off to Charlie at shedtesting.com. Also, you'll see the promo code down there for his services, which is great, 15% off. That'll come up in just a minute. But I had been talking about clown ultramel projects and ultramel clown projects, and I got a bunch of the tests back, and a lot of them were duds. I got to admit, I had such great odds when I cut the eggs, and all the other remaining odds were just nothing. So I had a couple that hit, and those animals have sold and moved. But I'm looking over here hanging up. I've got another 7 or 8 that are going out today. Not today. Today is Tuesday night at 8. They'll go out tomorrow. So in the next week or so, I should know. Those are for clown, Enchi clown, and super Enchi clown that are all either 50 or 66% het ultra male. So any of those that hit, I'll start deciding on if I want to keep any or let them go, but most of those will go. I've got the double visual holdbacks. So I don't know if I get one of the super Enchies, if one of those hit, I might keep one of those. But anyway, if you're interested, you can shoot me a note and I will get you on the list for that. While I'm thinking of it, next week, we got Brett from Jersey Guys Balls. He'll be back on the show. I was talking to Brett last night. I've been doing this show long enough that I forget like how much time goes by. In my mind, I was like, yeah, Brett's done the show. Don't want to bring him back too soon. It's been over a year since he was on the show. So we're looking forward to catching up with Brett. And they're doing amazing stuff out there. So Jersey Guys Balls, if you're not familiar, check them out. They'll be on next week. And then the following week, I got a pretty cool episode. Steven from Leviathan Snakes, always a great guest on the show. I think he's been on the show more times than anybody else. And he and Charlie at Reagan Renee are the only ones that have ever hosted the show in my absence, my rare absence. But every now and again, I got to, get a little time for the old noggin to myself. Steven will be on the show, but Winston from WHS, Reptiles, Pythons, WHS, you know what I'm talking about. It's Winston. You guys know what's up. They're going to be talking, they're going to come on the show together and they'll be talking about the new documentary that Steven has going out. And of course, we're going to talk snakes. The Southeast Reptile Expo is coming up. Tinley is coming up. The season's about to get going. The Colorado AARPE show is coming up. Did you guys hear they announced a Nashville AARPE show? Nothing official, but me and Robin are flirting a little bit about getting me out to the Colorado and the Nashville show. So I believe I'll be at, it sounded weird. We've chatted about it. I actually am waiting for Kelly to get back she's on a little vacation. I just need to check here on the home front, make sure it's good that I go. But I intend to be at the Colorado April show and then Nashville in May. So go check those out. Good friends of the show, Nick and Troy, putting on those AARPE shows. So tonight I got Beauty and the Balls. That's Whitney and Jason. They are a breeder couple and they've been at this. I got to learn. I don't know them really, really well. I'm going to admit that up front. So tonight we'll get to know them and hear kind of their full story and where they're at and all of that. But I know they've been around a few years, if not a lot longer. But when I do get to follow them and when I do get to chat with them, it's cool to see. They do a ton of shows. They travel. They definitely focus on ball pythons. They got some other things going. And then just, similar things to chat about. They're working on a new facility. And I thought I was doing cool stuff. I look at theirs and I'm like, oh, man, that is nice. So I want to get into that. I met them in person the very first time. I'd somehow gotten a break at Daytona. And like when you're vending by yourself at one of these monster shows, you're like on all the time. And I had somebody watching the table and I was like heading to the bathroom, but I was totally just like totally disengaged. Like I'd shut down from like salesman mode, anything. And I feel like in retrospect, I feel so bad. Whitney comes up. She's like, Adam, it's nice to meet you. It's Whitney from Beauty and the Balls. And Jason's over there. And like, it was so much coming at me at once. I was like, what are we talking about here? What happened here? And I was just so tired and so out of it. Like I said, I'd mentally shut down and I always felt bad looking back. I was like, I could have been a little more gracious about saying hello and all that kind of stuff. But it's always kind of stuck with me. And I'm like, I got to talk. Every time I see they're up to cool stuff. They're doing cool things on Instagram. So for the very first time ever, please welcome to the Proper Royals stage, Whitney and Jason Epps from Beauty and the Balls. How are you all tonight?
I'm good.
Hey, good.
For the record, I don't remember that at all.
Oh, really? Good. Because I felt like, I was like, oh, Adam, that way to build your brand. Why don't you just act really weird and like spaced out when somebody comes to say hi? So
I just remember the Deli Cup guy asking if you were the Deli Cup guy.
That's, yeah, Some people are known for the genes that they prove out or amazing combos. I'm known as you need dishwasher safe deli cups. Go talk to Adam. He's your boy. He's got them. So, thanks for being here. There's nothing more awkward than sitting in the green room hearing somebody talk about you, right? That's so we got that out of the way. It's all cruising from here. So, how are things going?
Good. We're ready for warm weather. I am, at least. I'm ready.
I tell you, if it's if it's on its way via Minnesota, it's on its way. Today was beautiful. Today's the warmest it's been in months. I was excited today. It was great. Are you guys still in the freeze temperature threats? Or you getting out of that area?
This morning was the last freeze for at least as far as you can see in the.
I think it's gonna be in the 50s tomorrow.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, it's coming across the I don't know, whatever the plains or down the river or whatever it is. So for people that don't know you, why don't you all take a little bit to introduce yourself? And I know you're in Alabama, and I looked up the town, but I didn't recognize it. But I was thinking I couldn't remember if you told me you were near Birmingham or Huntsville.
We're in Huntsville, which is the top half. So
Got
in
it.
North Alabama, we're only 2 hours from Nashville.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's actually a pretty strategic location, huh? Sorry, I cut you off. Oh, yeah, you got the shirt on there.
Yeah, we love that show. I'm a crazy plant lady, so of course that's my favorite show.
We could talk about that too then. So will you all be vending at the Nashville show?
We signed up last night.
So I might have just been slow on the take or didn't get the the behind the scenes info, but it seems, it's January to May. That's not that tight of a window to announce it. It seemed like it was a short window for a really big show. And I know those guys, they don't go small. They've got to have a massive venue there in Nashville, huh?
Well, so it's taking over the Nashville show. There was a Nashville show at that same venue that decided to just, quit last year. And so everybody, all the vendors and stuff depended on that show. That was our best show. Every year we would go to the show. I think it's twice a year, right?
Yeah.
And so they just quit. So I'm really glad that they were able to pick up the show out of all the vendors, which we don't discriminate on the vendors, but out of all the people to take over a venue, I'm really glad they got it. It's going to be really good.
Yeah, they're the best show promoters that you know.
Yeah. I've only been to their Colorado ones, but their Colorado shows were fantastic. Did you do the Charlotte one, or have you vended in it? You have. How was the Charlotte one for you?
Plant wise, it was amazing. The ball python's probably a second day show. We moved some on the last day, but plant wise, it's a really good show.
Yeah. I'm sure plant people didn't realize there's this whole reptile ball python world. I didn't realize there was this whole plant world. I'm walking around and I'm like, there's pretty steep prices on some of these plants. Look at this. What is going all of a sudden I'm like, maybe I need to be a plant guy, which I have not become. But
I just got back from Miami from a show that had over 400 vendors, all plant related, because I work for a plant store. So I was down there with my boss, and I saw this plant. It was the prettiest one I've ever seen. Didn't even look at the price. I'm looking at it and touching the leaves, and it's $1,900. Got an expensive taste, not only in ball pythons, but apparently in plants too. So,
where was that show at in Miami?
Fort Lauderdale at the Broward County Convention Center, which would be an amazing place for a reptile venue. But anyways.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. There's not a really prominent show down in South Florida. I think there's a promoter called Scales maybe that does a show there, but they're in I think they're in the West Palm area, and Repticon does do a Pembroke Pines one. That's in northern Miami, but a big national scale show would be, I don't know, there's a ton of people there. I was asking about Miami because I used to live down towards Homestead, but there's this the area west of US 1 is called Redlands, and there's all these just industrial greenhouses with plants that don't grow anywhere else in the United States just because of the tropical setting there. And I used to spend, and I liked it down there because of the foods and the fruits. You could get fruits there that you just couldn't get anywhere else. Yeah. From fruit stands on the side of the road, or after Hurricane Andrew, I was working as an electrician. and we would just like gorge ourselves on passion fruits right off the vines. You just cut them open with utility knives and just gush them. Oh, they're so good. So it's far cry from Minneapolis now, but anyway, every place has its perks. So what about the reptiles? How long have you guys been at this? And tell us a little bit about like the scope of what you're working on, how many shows a year you do. I like stats. Give us all kinds of fun stuff.
All right. I like stats too. And I was looking at them earlier. So we've been doing it for 4 years.
Okay.
Earlier this month, we've been 4 years since we got our first ball python. And then, I don't know, just like a lot of people would say, they just started watching YouTube about it and got hooked on, you know, collecting and breeding and everything. So I got in that pretty quick. And I think by May, we decided that we were gonna do it. So started buying more snakes and started up an LLC and everything to make it official. And then
you did it right out of the gate, like 4 months in, huh?
Yep.
Wow. Okay. What was like the hook that like tipped you? Like, what was the moment? Like, I kind of remember my moment. Like, what was your moment where it went from like, we'll have a couple ball pythons and that'll be fun, to like, we're going to make some money and start an LLC?
He doesn't really do anything like, slowly into it. Like he's either in, it's like bass fishing. I introduced him to bass fishing and now we have a bass boat and a lot of really expensive lures. But I think what really pushed us over was we got a female to breed, but she was gravid already and laid 5 eggs. We were like, well, I guess we're doing this, Cool. We'd already bought all this stuff, like the incubator and everything was already set up. But I mean, it kind of just threw us in there. And then it went so well and the eggs came out perfect. The snakes came out perfect. Everything was so smooth. We were like, yeah, this is easy. Let's do it. Let's just do it.
Yeah, I think the thing with me though is that this was not my first business. I mean, it's kind of a little different, but I was a skydiver in Hawaii, and then I had my own LLC, and so I had that taste of the taxes and stuff, the benefits from that. So I was like, we should, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it right away and start getting that benefit right away. So that's what kind of helped push me into it, because if we were gonna start buying snakes, I was gonna start writing them off.
You should, audience, people watching on replay, you should pause, go back and watch that 6 times. Jason, you're exactly right. And that's the stuff they don't like teach you in high school. Nobody knows that until, I was going to say, it's a great point that if you've already done like the routine once, starting a business probably is less scary for you. But you're also exactly right. If you're going to be buying stuff with any even thought, an inkling of maybe even just trying to make money, you don't have to wait till you make money to start your business. Get all the upfront write-offs and even the long-term things that you can depreciate, and get a good tax person that can set these things up for you so that you can benefit from those, depending on how long you like. Do you get into the weeds with like your taxes on like how long you depreciate stuff? Not
really. I just write it all off at once.
Oh, you do it all at once. Yeah. So like once I hit like my tax guy, once I hit like sort of that 0 number, then we find things to depreciate so that over the next 5 years, I could still take those deductions in the future against future earnings.
Yeah. I've started to think about doing that.
Yeah. If you're fortunate enough that you're probably, the flip side of that means that you're doing enough revenue that you don't need to worry about looking into the future. You need it now. I haven't, in my first years, I wasn't doing enough revenue to offset that. But before we get like losing the point, audience, if you're buying ARS or Freedom Breeder racks and thousands of dollars of equipment, you don't even have to start an LLC. Just get a good tax person and say you're a sole proprietor. You can still write those things off and get a benefit from it. So that's something that I don't think gets talked about enough. So I'm really excited to hear you bring that up.
Yes.
So how did that first year go for you? Speaking of those things. So that would have been what, 2021?
2021, yeah.
Yeah. So did you catch the end of that heyday, or were you like, did you jump in like at the tough time?
It was still good. I want to say our very first show was incredible. We sold 66% of all the snakes we brought to the show.
Nice. That'll get you really hooked. Now you're like, oh, you bought 3. Well, even still, that's twice as many as I sold on my first show.
But it was cool. It was again the same thing. We just jumped into it like didn't really have all the setup and everything, and we just found a local show that was literally 15 minutes away. We couldn't pass it up, and so we had a couple of snakes to sell. So start getting our names out there, start meeting people, and going to the shows.
Yeah.
So
did you go through like the whole like branding and the big vision, like we're gonna build this and make people know about us, or was it just like just bumble around a little bit until you figure it out kind of thing?
I mean, we did the logo. Like I was drawing the logo immediately, the name and all that. So we had the banner made. I'm pretty like OCD about the look of the table. So we had the nice displays, the lights, we actually weren't doing the plants at that time. So it was just the snakes. And then we slowly started adding things to it as we saw that it sold at the shows, but we already had it, everything. We wanted to come in looking professional, even though we probably didn't know what the heck we were doing. So.
It makes a massive difference. Like, even if you don't know what you're doing, I tell people it's not hard to like
fake it till you make it,
or iron your shirt, or take a shower and wear shoes before you go vend. It's terrible. Some of the things I see, like I've literally seen vendors barefoot, and I'm like,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, then there's 2 of them because it's the ones up here. I'm like, what do you shouldn't even be at the show. Like, get out of here. But it provides opportunity for others. And I hate to admit it, but it's not that hard to like at least look average, if not above average, at your typical
like have a tablecloth. I mean, have a tablecloth.
Right. Like you can just go to Amazon and be like, banquet tablecloth, 8-foot tablecloth, figure something out. Yeah. And actually that's exactly what I started with. I didn't have anything branded. I had a pop-up sign behind me. And then otherwise I just had a fitted 8-foot, like cube box that like fits over the table. Black always looked good in banquets when I was running them, and weddings and all of that. I knew how to make a display look nice. I was like, just keep it sharp and clean. Don't clutter it up, and get on with your show.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you all use for your displays and your lights?
For now, once we saw the next level displays, I was like blown away. I was like, man, that looks incredible. I'm just gonna get some of those. That's what we do. We got a few of those and love them. They're super heavy. That's the
I can't lift them.
That's the only negative I see about them, other than.
But the fact that the lights are in it and you don't have to wiggle the thing, make sure it's level. It's already there.
Yeah, sit it.
Like it's very convenient.
Open
and it has that's why
those are. I forget their name, but they're great people that vend them too. They're out of Michigan. I see them all the time here on this Midwest, and they go everywhere. They go as far out as Colorado. I don't know how far south they go, but man, they're all over the place.
We met him. I can't think of his name right now. They're really nice.
Yeah, they are. Anyway, but they're good product, good people. You can't ask for more than that. I've never used them, but I look at them all the time. I always say hi. I always go see them and say hello and everything, kind of like you do on the circuit. So, how many shows a year do you think you guys will do?
16.
16. Okay.
Wow. I've never counted. That's a lot.
Since they advertised the All-American one in Nashville, though, that'll be 17. But
there you go. So, but
more though.
What do you say to the people that are like, shows aren't worth doing, the overhead's too big, this and that? What benefits do you see for those?
I mean, really, are you going to get people to follow you by just sitting at home and not putting yourself out there and meeting people? No. I guess you could do it on TikTok or whatever you do, or can you? You can't even do that now. But going out and just, visual, people will be like, oh, I remember y'all and son. And I don't know who they are, but they remembered us just because of our sign, just because of my makeup. I don't know, but they remember you. Mm-hmm. So just going to a show, even if you don't sell anything, which doesn't really happen. have we ever not sold anything?
One time.
Okay, one time we haven't sold anything out of all the shows that we do. But like, I mean, just getting your name out there is important. And if you don't, then, you know, I mean, you can depend on Morph Market, but people like me like to see things in person. I like to buy things in person. I don't want to buy anything online that I can't touch or see for myself.
Yeah, I think go ahead, Jason.
I was just going to add, going back again and again is really helps that like the first time you show up at a show, nobody knows you, so they might be like, oh, I know those people, so I'm going to go and talk to them. But
we have repeat customers from that.
But if you keep going back, then that's where you start getting the people that recognize the brand, recognize our faces, and say, oh yeah, I saw you the last time, and then we start talking a little bit more than somebody just brand new.
Yeah, I would agree 100% on that. The personal interaction is like, Whitney, to your point, if somebody's really good online and they're not comfortable in person, fine, I get it. But by and large, I love the in-person interaction. Jason, what you were talking about, like, you don't know the impression that you make on somebody, and maybe they didn't have money that day, but they were going, maybe these people will be back next time. And it snowballs. Like, you guys probably heard my excitement at this weekend show coming up. Like, I know that's going to be a great show. I know I work my butt off in my local market, and it's a massive market here. Minneapolis is a huge metro area. So like, I know it's going to be a great show. I do have to give a caveat to anybody looking up at this and dreaming a little bit. $0 shows do happen. I couldn't believe it. I got all the way through 2024, and the second to the last show I did, goose egg. I was like, I was going to go a whole year without any zeros. But to your point, it was the first show I ever did in Kansas City. And that was the very first time I was in that market. And I did nothing at that show, and it was busy. It was a great show. I don't know. You can go drive yourself crazy. Like, was it location? Did I not have the right animals? Did they not know me? I don't know. Just keep doing it. It'll work itself out. So, what are some of your favorite shows? Like, I know you guys go up to Tinley, right? I saw you all there last year. No, or not?
No. Yeah, it was last February.
We didn't see it there. I think it was 2 years ago we went.
Oh, wow.
But it's been a while. We're going in March this year, so we'll see you up there. But we go up there just to hang out.
We just go to walk around. And
the farthest shows we go is St. Louis,
Daytona,
and then Charlotte now over that way, and then Daytona down south. So
thought about doing, what was it, Dallas, but it doesn't line up right. Oh, and then we've done Louisiana, the Herp show. We've done
Slidell.
Oh yeah. How far is St. Louis from you guys? That seems like a long way, but maybe my geography's
7 hours.
7.
Yeah, it's not too bad. That's not too bad of a drive.
Pulling a camper and with a 6-year-old, it's 8 hours. Well, but otherwise, it's probably 7. If you don't pull a camper, you could probably make it in 6. I think I have before back in my teen years.
I had to watch my mouth. I almost just interjected, like, all right, how many bottles of liquor though does it take? Like, oh my gosh, a camp for a 6-year-old for the weekend vending. Oh, that's our
actually the St. Louis show. It's St. Charles, right?
Yeah.
The St. Charles show is amazing. The location, there's a lot of restaurants. There's all kinds of stuff. Noah loves it. Like, we love it. Although
the museum.
Yeah, the museum,
the zoo
downtown. The zoo is free. Oh my God, we had an amazing time.
Oh, cool. So you go, like, you take a little longer time then, huh? It's not just like get in, then get out.
Yeah, for that one we go
like
a couple
day,
days early.
A day or two earlier.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's pretty cool. So what do you do? Like, what's the background, or what led, you mentioned something about a skydiving business as well, but are there day jobs that work well in this world for you? Or I don't know if you want to get into any of that or keep that stuff private. Some people like to keep that private, but anything that overlaps where you were like, all right, I do this professionally and this can translate into this business.
Not really.
Doesn't really translate.
But
well, mine does, but not his.
So I'm a electrical engineer at
cool.
A defense contractor company. But so I mean I know about designing electrical systems, which kind of comes into play, I guess, sometimes when you
in spreadsheets.
Yeah, in engineering, there's a lot of data, like you said. I like data, so I keep a lot of stats keep track of a lot of stuff on a spreadsheet, like she said. But
yeah. Do you are you still are you still on your own spreadsheets? Do you use any of the data tracking software? Are you Clutch, Husbandry Pro kind of people? Or you do it all yourself, old school, your own spreadsheets?
I like my spreadsheets. I've developed them to be exactly how I want them to be, and everything. They work well for me. I did download the Husbandry Pro app and put everything in there over a few days, and used it for a while, and I've kind of stopped because I like my spreadsheet better, but I still have. So I use it occasionally though. So it's
that it didn't work. It's just that once you get set like on your certain thing, then he likes to stick with that.
No, if it works for you, I mean, I am, so full disclosure, Husbandry Pro developed my website for me. So I do some advertising and work with them. But I like the product because it works for me and it helps for me. But there are other things where I'm like, no, I'm going to do it my way because it works for me. There's a bazillion ways to do things. So if it's a square peg, round hole situation, that's not going to benefit anybody. So I completely get that. It did take a little while to pry me from my spreadsheets. So I like my old kitchen days were all spreadsheets, all, prep lists, checklists, recipe books. That's kind of the model that I built everything in here. So letting go of my spreadsheet and on the clipboard, it feels good. Do you use a clipboard for yours?
No, it's all on my phone.
I like the physical. Yeah,
I do handwritten stuff. I'm very old school. I don't do spreadsheets. I can't even see it. I would have to zoom in too far. So I do paper.
I still have just piles of paper everywhere. I couldn't tell you what some of this stuff is. I'm forever like, okay, flip that over, make new notes. But I do remember things better if I write it down and have that sort of tactile piece to it, So what happened with the sky? That sounds like too quick to like just yada yada over. What happened with the skydiving business?
So I was in the Navy and stationed in Hawaii, and
which has nothing to do with skydiving.
But my last year over there, I just started skydiving, and when I got out of the Navy, that's when I was looking for a job, and the guy there at the job center was just like, "Hey, you want to work here?" And I was like, yes. I mean, I got into that same thing, just went all in, started jumping every day. And as soon as I got a job, I worked nonstop for like a year and a half until I met her. And then I started taking breaks so we can go on vacations and stuff. But I mean,
how did you go from, what was the lure to go from skydiving in Hawaii to bass fishing in Huntsville?
Me.
All right. I love it.
Our son, so when he was born, our initial thing was, okay, once it's time to go to school, we're going to move home because the schools out there are absolutely atrocious. Like they're the worst schools in the United States. And so I was like, I don't want him to get behind, blah, blah, blah. We'll move when he's 4 or 5. And then, I was away from family and I'm like, right. I'm a Southern girl, like of course I have my family and I wanted to be closer, so they had the grandparents, and so we're like, maybe when he turns 3. It ended up we moved when he was 4 months old. We moved here, and then he had a systems engineer degree and stuff, so he could try to find an engineer job. And then I think part of him didn't really want to jump out of planes anymore because he didn't want to risk knowing a father at some point, if the reserve didn't pull or something, but yeah, so it kind of just happened. And so he did do some skydiving when he moved back here, but they jump maybe like once a day, and it's not as pretty as jumping over an island.
A little different.
Yeah, and it's really bad on your back and your knees and everything. So
I didn't think about that. Tailbones, pretty bang those up, huh?
Yeah, well, for the most part, in Hawaii, he was allowed to just stand them up. So he had them strapped to him and jumped out, and so he would just be like, all right, stand up. They didn't do that in Alabama. They make you scoot on your butt. And that was hard. Like over here, they don't jump 8 times a day. So they're not used to that. So they make the tandem instructors actually go on that tailbone. And that was a lot for a 40-year-old.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, an old man like me.
Old man like him.
I wouldn't do it. I'm good. I've anyway, that's a whole different discussion. But
just do it once. It's pretty fun. I've done it 4 times. It's fun.
No, I got a thing of heights. I got the same thing. I'm a dad. I'm a husband. I got to come home in one piece. I finally, like, I used to joke with people when I was like 26, like I got a whole term life insurance policy and I was like, oh, this is a grown up feeling thing. And I was like, then one day I woke up and I was like, I'm worth more dead than I am alive. I don't know if I like this policy. And then one day I woke up and I was like, whoa, I've had some success. I'm back to being worth more alive than if I die. And that's where I am now. So I want to stay alive. I'm good. I don't screw around anymore. I'm going to stick around. I'll stay alive here. This is good. So no, much less exciting. But when I was in North Carolina, I had to give up cycling on a road bike because there just wasn't bike lanes and the mountain roads, and then all the like the sand and the salt all over the roads from the snow in the wintertime. I was like, I'm going to die out here. I have to quit. But Minnesota has beautiful roads, beautiful trails. I can go 50, 100 miles and not see a car on the biking trails up here. So I'm back to it now. You all looked at each other like there was a cycling thing in there.
He did that in Hawaii. He did triathlons
yeah.
It started in Japan, which was funny because I could ride my bike 50 miles, but next to a car the whole way. Like car.
Oh yeah.
It was scary, but when I was in Connecticut, I wrecked myself and broke my collarbone.
I was going to say, did you get the collarbone? Yeah. Yeah. I never, thankfully, yeah. What's that?
It like exploded and yeah.
Because
the guy's like, I just said it. And then picked out all the pieces and I was like, oh my gosh, that's disgusting.
No, in Florida, I did just what you're talking about. You know, the cars flying by, you're trying to do, 17, 19 miles or whatever. And the cars are doing 65 and 70. And it wasn't too bad because it was just so flat in Florida. The only hills were the bridges, but and I never did triathlons, but I did the MS 150. So the 150 mile rides, I would do those. But now, like I say, my son came around, got married, moved to the mountains in North Carolina. And I was like, I'm going to have to find something else. I'm going to die up here. This is not healthy. So I'm glad to be back to it now though. So, all right, back to ball pythons. What are you what are you guys excited about? What are you working? What are things either that you are known for or want to be known for?
So working my ultimate goal is Axanthic, clown, desert ghost.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm working. It's going to be a long ways away, but
at the risk of inciting this whole argument that I find exhausting, what line of Axanthic are you working?
It's VPI.
There you go. All right. Then it's not exhausting. Then you're on the right team. It's good.
Yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, working some codoms into it as it goes along, and just enjoying that process. But also at the same time, I'm gonna be working on Axanthic Desert Ghost puzzle. That's what even is more exciting than the Desert Ghost, I think. Clown.
I think that's a good project with puzzle. There's some like puzzle almost, and I have a lot of puzzle, not a lot, but I have invested a lot into puzzle, and I'm looking forward to making a lot of puzzle. It seems like some genes, just like the pattern changing genes, just roll over puzzles sometimes. So keeping the original puzzle gene without worrying about or having that concern, which Axanthic and DG would do, that seems like a really to me, that I think that's a great path for puzzle. And we eventually got to find the genes that do the right things with puzzle, but it's hard to take can you imagine being the people that had all the clown puzzles and they're like, oh, yeah. Whoops, we had them. They've been here. Oh,
yeah. There's one thing that I'm excited about for this year is that it's a puzzle back clown and once that puzzle clown came out, so Puzzleback is a super jungle Woma.
Okay.
So she, like she said earlier, she's like, oh, this is a pretty snake. Like early on, this is a pretty snake. Let's get it. And I was like, okay, yeah. I was like a whole bunch. It was pastel Enchi jungle Woma, yellow belly het clown. So I was like,
okay,
sounds like a good.
There's a lot going on with it.
Yeah. So once they started looking into jungle Woma, I thought that was pretty cool. Once we hatched our first couple jungle Womas, I was like, oh, those are pretty neat. And I saw the Puzzleback, and I was like, oh, that's now my goal. That was like one of my early goals. So, but now I have a chance to do the Puzzleback clown, and I'm worried that it's going to come out like the puzzle clown. So, but we'll see.
You're this far in, you're like, I got to know.
Might as well.
Yeah.
Well, and obviously we haven't seen one before.
I don't think so. I can't find one. I don't even know a whole lot of people that work jungle Woma. I've seen some at Canova, some just like one or two. Like he had a jungle Woma pied last year for sale. That was pretty neat looking. And then there's only a couple other breeders that I've seen them on Morph Market or anywhere, and most of them are possible jungle Woma.
I saw them on your Morph Market page, and I admit I'm not familiar with them, and I need to go look some more. And I certainly am not familiar with what a super jungle Woma looks like. So, but like to me, I feel like we're always just like one gene interchange or one discovery away from something being alive again, a project being alive. Like I hear people say, well, clown pied kind of fizzled out. And I'm like, well, fizzled out because people stopped doing anything with it. The ones with codoms in them are still doing great. It's just the basic, clown pied stuff. And then it gets this reputation. And then some amazing thing comes along and people are like, oh, we got to do that again. It kind of happened with hypo. We saw that happen over the past couple of years with hypo. It seems like cinnamon and black pastel kind of go through that cycle. Like people be like, oh, nobody should breed cinnamon. And they're like, oh, that's a pretty good looking snake, Yeah. I think that's going to happen with the clown puzzle. There's got to be something that will open it up, unlock it. It needs something else. I don't know. Maybe it needs I don't know. I haven't worked it nearly enough to have that opinion, but I know when that and I won't name any names, but I know when that when Justin was like, well, it turns out we've had one for a long time, and it like just the whole market just crashed, man. And I was working with somebody trying to sell some, and I was like,
plants that way.
You what?
When the Farms comes out, which is a big producer of plants, when Costa Farms comes out with it, then all of us small business people are like, great, just spent $1,000 on a plant that's gonna be $20 at Lowe's now. Same thing.
Yeah. But I do see cycles of it. And like, I make jokes about the Axanthic line. So and even people in the audience are laughing. So in the properroyals Patreon, there's this ongoing debate. Is it TSK? Is it VPI? And for the longest, it was always like people just crapping on VPI. And now it's funny. I'm starting to see some posts where like, oh, the TSK is the gene that sucks. And I'm like, work good examples. There's going to be good ones. There's going to be bad ones, whatever. Find what fits, find what works. But I think there'll be something that comes from, I still think there'll be something that comes from Puzzle Clown. The problem is just the time that it takes to discover it. I don't know if I'll be that guy that puts in I won't be the guy on Puzzle Clown, but I don't know if in a similar situation, even if I had been working a project like that, I don't know that I have that's a lot of time to invest and not know what's going to happen with it. Knowing that your misses it's a lot of work, You
got to test them all because you're not sure.
That's true. It's a lot of money too. So Jungle Woma stuff. What's some other things that you're excited about for this year?
Before we move on, just for the Jungle Woma,
please.
The bad thing about that is that it has Woma. It says Woma. So the Woma gene is completely different than the Jungle Woma, and the Woma has the head wobble and stuff. Jungle Woma does not. and it has a stable super form, which is pretty cool. And it looks a lot like spider. So like a lot of people are
always
like,
think that it's
oh,
Woma, and we're like, no, it's completely different.
Yeah. So that's
really,
that's the problem with jungle Woma, is that people
see the word.
Yeah. People are discouraged by what it's called, which is pretty unfortunate, but it's a really cool snake.
Where's the, just sort of philosophically, where's the sweet spot between like, at one end of the spectrum, work stuff that everybody's working because you'll have customers forever. And then the other end of the spectrum, which is work stuff that nobody's working because when you hit it, you're going to be the one and you're going to make your money. Where's that sweet spot for you? It sounds like this is a great example of trying to figure out where that's at in sort of that philosophical spectrum with a gene like that.
I have no idea.
Okay, you didn't think about it, but I mean, was there ever a part where you're like, well, we're up against a steep hill here, like you were just describing, but if you're making some of the only really cool super jungle Womas and they go, you're going to be like the people for it.
Yeah, that's true.
It's kind of 50-50.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I do. I'm originally I thought let's put jungle Woma in everything, but then I was like, no, let's not do that. So I kind of keep it. I'm trying to keep it kind of small and like doing other stuff too. Like diversifying, like you said, is the best. So like I'm working that triple recessive projects, and then but also the jungle Woma. So and everywhere in between too.
That's a good idea.
Well, you can overlap all of those things. I mean, you can do, that's what people like. I love with the project because people are like, well, you got to stay focused to only work this project. I'm like, they can all overlap. They can all be like, so you're talking about jungle Woma. For me, it's super gravel. I'm like, you can have super gravel clown, axanthic, ultramel, lavender, rainbow clown, right? You can do all of those and work it in, but then your misses might not have that in it. So you're going to have stuff for everybody on there. I liked Roger's point here. I don't know that JW is going to save the world, but really astute point about desert and ghost were already kind of mixed into other areas that might've been seen as not as appetizing, especially the desert gene. A ghost hypos kind of come back around. That's a pretty insightful point. Maybe this is
good conversation starter too. People will be like, what's JW? And then we can start talking about it.
Yeah. And then you got him for like 2 more minutes at your table. That
like it.
That could be, maybe I'm into JW now. That's pretty good. That's pretty good right there.
JW back.
J-Dubs.
Yeah. Like I'm the JW guy. That's me. You could tell Jason and Whitney. Are you kidding me? JW?
Oh my gosh. That's perfect.
I was going to say, you got to make up a middle name with W for Jason. I'm like, no, you don't. You're both right there.
That's awesome.
All right. Next show. Try it. Give it a run. And Roger gets, 2% of everything off the top.
Oh,
that's how it's going to work.
He lives in the same town as us. He's going to hold us to it.
I know. He's going to come. He's going to be like,
where we live.
Actually, he's there. He's there now. That's who you were looking at a minute ago, wasn't it? He's in the window. He's like, yeah.
The window.
Second story. Second story.
Yeah, he's got a ladder. He doesn't care.
But yeah, so you asked about other genes. So one of the other things I'm excited about for this year are I have a couple ultramel pairings and then one ultramel clown possibility, which is pretty exciting. It's a pinstripe leopard ultramel het clown to pastel Mojave Enchi clown het ultramel. So it's like a ton of things. Like it's gonna be great. Yeah, I'm interested to see what you hit. I was did a lot this year on ultramel clowns, and I love that product. Man, they're beautiful. So the double visuals they're phenomenal in person. I've seen pictures, but in person, I still open the tubs. I'm like, oh, there it is. I see you. It's cool. Yeah, so she's getting big too. So hopefully good. I hope you hit those. I'll be interested to see what you get coming out of those. Keith said I never heard of Puzzleback. I'm going to check this out. Keith said he just took a look. It was pretty sweet, he says. Yeah, it was a puzzle. That's why they called it a puzzle back. So I mean, it was. I think it came out before the puzzle gene, or before the puzzle gene was big, or something. So that's why they called it. It looks like a puzzle on the back. It looks neat.
So that's the wait a second. So that's the super JW is JW. Puzzle back.
Yes.
So it doesn't actually have puzzle in it.
No.
Okay. I did that whole segment with the wrong mentality. Then I thought the whole segment was super jungle Loma with puzzle.
With puzzle.
Well, back. what's that going to be called when you do that though?
The puzzle back.
Yeah, the puzzle back. Okay. All right.
It's called the Jason Whitney.
It's the JW. It's the JW puzzle back. That's what it is.
SJW. I don't know.
Disney back.
Super JW. Yeah. Okay. All right. There's lots of opportunity here tonight for sure.
Oh yeah, we're gonna call it Kevin.
Kevin. We're looking at the comments.
It's probably somebody else.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're saying hi to somebody. I don't think you just call. I don't think Craig. Craig is like, what did I walk into? Craig and I have been working on a project behind the scenes. Craig's probably like, man, I don't think this guy Adam's going to cut the mustard anymore if these are the interviews that he that he conducts. It's Kevin Sugar Skull Sulfur Serpents that he's saying hi to. All right. How many clutches will you do this year?
I got
how many pairings?
I think a number I don't know off the top of my head. I think it's like 25.
I was say a ballpark. You just make up one, whichever you want.
Which if last year I think we paired 15 to 17, 15 to 16, and we only got 10 clutches. So I mean it's like everybody else's story. Like the first year we got everyone win, and then it's kind of like declining over time, which is weird. But the more you pair, the more chances you have for them not to go, I guess. But
well, that's true too. It's funny. My experience was the flip. Like I think my first year maybe half went, and then it inched up to like 60%. And I think even this last year, I think it was only maybe 60, I don't know, maybe 70%. But then I get thinking about it. I've been moving like every 2 years. So they settle in and then I move again kind of thing. And I'm not moving, but I'm going to move them into another facility. So we'll see. But this year, I can move them when I want. I'm not going to move the females until they lay this year or until they reabsorb. That
might mess up our thing too.
We got the same thing.
We're going to be moving,
Yeah.
That's probably going to mess it up.
A lot of ours go early though. It's kind of strange. We've already got our first eggs and it looks like there's three more about to that have ovulated, and they're gonna go pretty soon, and then 3 more after that. They look like they were off food, and so
hopefully they can do it all before May.
Yeah.
Before we move, and then we'll be fine.
But we're the thing. We don't have to move right away. We can always kind of keep them here for a little bit, and then keep them where we keep them.
Keep them where we keep them.
All right. I want to know more about that in a minute. I want to know more about this facility that you're building, what the logistics of that look like. And now I wonder, you said do you have to is it like moving like a household? Don't tell me. We're going to get there in just a second. I'm going to pay some bills so that I don't have to move to a home never mind. That was a bad segue. I'm going to pay some bills. We're going to be right back and learn about this expansion facility that you guys are building. So guys, check out REDLINE shipping.com. The weather is loosening up in a lot of the country. I was able today to send off a bunch of packages. Look, REDLINE Shipping still has the best support team in the industry. Reptile people looking out for reptile people that you can call that know about your animals, the different species, a whole sort of database of who's who in the reptile industry going back several decades are tied to their experience and their insight. So for me, that's why I choose Redline Shipping. I think that you'll enjoy it. Go check out redlineshipping.com. Check out the customer interface. It's great. It's easy to navigate, and use the promo code PROPER5. Get yourself $5 off of your next shipping label. Shedtesting.com. I talked earlier about getting some shed tests. Charlie is the guy. He's the one doing the tests. He's the one doing the customer service. If you have questions, you could call him. You can talk to him. Check him out on Instagram anytime you need to, but go to shedtesting.com. There's over 32 genes that you can test for that are listed. If there's something that like in the yellow belly complex, I don't think he lists every gene on there, but he's got the test for all of them. Same with the bell complex. If there's something you want details on, check with Charlie. Either he'll tell you where it's at in the production phase of generating the test, or he might have it for you. You get 15% off using proper15 at the promo code. That's for whole orders. You can order as many individual shed tests as you want per order, and the code is good for 2 full orders. So stock them up, stack up your sheds, and buy a bunch at once. Get yourself 15% off. Shedtesting.com. REDLINE Reptiles, that is Robbie Richard in Greer, South Carolina. Currently on Morph Market, he's got clown, DG, zebra ingredients, single, double, triples, and in some combos that you can check out. Those are on Morph Market. He's also got I don't know if it's, I didn't check this week, but he's been on there. There's a visual male DG clown currently on Morph Market. Maybe, maybe you got a little axanthic girlfriend that needs to go to that male DG clown there from Robbie. You can also go to his website, which is rgenreptiles.com, and join his email list. It's free, and the email list recipients get all first access to all of his new animals. Robbie's also building a new facility. We kind of exchanged notes on spray foam and some strategy on temperatures and everything. So he's a great guy to work with, and I do work with and stay in touch with him outside of just advertising. So he's also got a YouTube channel. Go check that out. Portuguese pythons, that's Danny and Renee Rocha out in Chino, California. Killer projects that they're working on. For myself, I really like their Ultramel Pied stuff that they're doing, but they also are working Ultramel Clowns with a bunch of cool dark genes, blackhead, het red axanthic, GHI. All of my Ultramel Pied project ingredients have come from them, and a lot of my blackhead stuff has as well. Go check out their Morph Market. They do have Ultramel Clown combo ingredients, puzzle projects, Hypo, DG, and VPI triple projects are featured on Morph Market right now as well. Trevor at Ball Labs in Colorado. I get to go see him in April. He'll be vending at the AARPE show. He's also, go check out his Instagram. He's got a Palm Street auction coming up, and he just started a podcast with Critical Hit Exotics. That's Gertz, also there in Colorado. 2 great guys. So Trevor's got a whole lot going on. He works some pretty cool high-end genes, but also like some forgotten genes that maybe people have stopped working with, that he's like, what would these do with these newer hip genes that nobody, it's like 2 different generations colliding. He likes playing with that kind of stuff. But he's also working puzzle, Ultramel Clown, VPI Axanthic, Tri-Stripe, Monsoon Zebra, and Sunset projects. He's also a licensed rodent breeder in Colorado, which technically, if you're selling rodents in Colorado, you are to be inspected and licensed. And there's only like a handful, like less than 10 people that are licensed for that. Trevor's one of them. He's doing things the right way, and that translates to how he takes care of his animals as well. Go support a breeder, checking out fresh combinations and maintaining ethical practices. He's also, follow him on Instagram. Last is B and S Reptilia. That is Chris. Chris is the original sponsor of Proper Royals, still here after all these years. I'm thankful, humble, proud to say that advertisers don't really come and go from my channel. These are great relationships with great people, and Chris is absolutely one of those people. He's my vending partner at Tinley. I'm not sure if he'll be out in March. I don't know that he will be, but his snakes might be. I got to get on the horn with him and find out what's going on with that. But he's called Reptilia. He has ball pythons, blood pythons, locality boas, colubrids of all shapes and sizes, and even the Pituophis, the bull snakes and the pine snakes. those have a lot of regulations throughout the United States. He will help you on what you can have, where you can have it, and how he can legally get them to you. Same at Tinley. He'll have the right licenses and permits to have those at Tinley. I don't know if they'll be there in March with me, but certainly when he makes it back in October. So go check out Chris at B and S Reptilia. He is also the regional distributor for the chipper in Pennsylvania, the Cocoa. And if you're looking to get into the or get on with the chipper as a distributor in your local regional area, get in touch with Chris. He can facilitate that process. And I know that they are looking for more distributors across the United States. There you go. Thank you to the sponsors. All of their information is down below in the links. You'll also find special mention there too. You'll find a link to the Dr. Tom Harbin Scholarship Fund at Auburn University. If you're looking for a contribution you can make, I don't know how you could support the longevity of our industry and the future of our industry any better. It is an endowed scholarship managed by, I guess, the University of Auburn, but not by the Harbin family. So it is designed to be independent and endowed and perpetual scholarship that you invest the base money and then you pay out the interest as scholarships in the future. So if you'd like to contribute to that, what a great testament to the memory of Dr. Tom Harbin. I think it'd be a fantastic thing to do. So go check all that out. It's all down in the description. Thanks for listening. We got Whitney and Jason Epps from Huntsville, Alabama, from Beauty and the Balls. Thanks for sitting through that, everybody. That one felt good. I think I had a good flow there on the promo run there. I thought that was all right. Good. Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, really? I got to find out about that. Okay, so Josh says you'll be awarding the first scholarship this spring. That's going to feel amazing. I either got to get you guys on, or maybe at Tinley we could do a quick little, interview or blurb about that. I think education is incredibly important, and I can't think of a better. I legitimately can't think of a better way to pay a little bit of tribute to somebody, especially in their field. And I'm so happy that it's not only was started, but is coming to fruition. There'll be a recipient this spring on that scholarship. Super cool. All right, cool. We got to, I feel good. That brings me joy to hear. So,
and that's a really good school. So that's like a huge deal because the vet program and everything there is like the biggest part of Auburn. So it's a really good school.
That is cool. I have had a few beverages at the War Eagle Supper Club. I've been there. I've never thrown any toilet paper on Toomer's Corner. Thank you very much. My Gators didn't fare so well when I was there. I got a little something on the back wall there. Anyway, but it is a cool town, and so I've had a very good time. Okay, real quick. I got one little beef with Auburn. I go, it's Florida, Florida's in town for the weekend. Actually, no, it wasn't even a football weekend. I go see a concert at War Eagle Supper Club. A band from Jacksonville's in town. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go see some old friends. I lived in Wetumpka for a little while. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. I spent some time in Alabama. There's cars everywhere. There's cars parked all over the place, up and down the street, all over. Whose car gets towed? Oh, mine with the little Gator logo on the front of it. I sit at the Waffle House at the interstate till like 7 a.m. when this place opens because I wasn't planning on staying overnight. I get there when it opens. My car's the only one in the whole tow lot. It was like a Sunday night or something. It was very clearly a selective towing is what I say. Anyway. Selective towing. They were highly discriminatory to your Florida Gator boy here. Anyway, there's and you got all these, like, you got a tiger, you got an eagle. It's all and anyway. The redeeming quality is, of course, Dr. Tom Harbin and the Scholarship Fund. So I'm back to supporting them. Even oh, geez, here comes a pile. Now all of a sudden, the Tennessee fans are friends with Auburn now. Yeah, look at the Florida boy uniting the world. All right, enough about me. You guys are building, like, what is this facility? Is it a facility in the house, or are there two separate buildings?
Two separate buildings.
It's a separate
the house and the enclosure.
It's
going to be called the enclosure.
Okay, that's the name of it. I like it.
Yeah. Was it 50 by 60 or
40 by 60?
40 by 60.
40 by 60. So you got 2,400 square feet. What's bigger, the house or the enclosure?
The house for sure.
Oh, okay, I was just saying, you hesitated a little bit now. Like if you have to think about it, it's at least close, right?
Oh yeah, no, it's still bigger. Never mind.
Yeah, the house is bigger. The garage in the house is almost as big as this thing, so it's crazy.
Okay, I got you. So let me play like what's a nice way of saying jerk? Let me play devil's advocate. That doesn't exactly fit. Let me just ask. You got 25 clutches. What in the world do you need 2,400 square feet for? Is that unfair? I mean, I'm asking in a good natured way.
We don't, but at least there'll be enough plugs. I'm just excited about the plugs.
You got the electrical engineer to handle that, right?
Yeah, I designed the whole thing and walked through the electrician, make sure that he got all the plugs in there. Crazy, but yeah, we definitely don't need that much space right now. It's definitely way overkill, but I mean,
but we don't ever want to have to upgrade. Like we wouldn't just go ahead, just like the next level displays. Like, might as well go ahead and hopefully plan to be, the next Justin Cabell. I'm just kidding. We did go to his facility and we got a lot of inspiration from that. So yeah, we're just planning. You never know. I'm really excited about the incubator room. It's nowhere near the size of Justin Cabelka's, but it's really cool that we're going to have it where you just open the door instead of opening little bitty latches on a door,
Right. No, I mean, I thought obviously it was a question that came into my mind, but I also, I hope I mean it respectfully, because you could have so you got a walk-in incubator. What are some other exciting features? Do you have like for me, it would be a sink. Like, you get a sweet sink. Like, what are you doing in there?
So there's drains in every room. So if we wanted to mop and water, if we wanted to mop, because we're going to have those kinds of floors, you can just mop. It'll just go right into the drain. We won't have to squeeze it into. It's going to be
floor drains. People are like, "Why'd you buy a car wash?" I'm like, you know how much water I can drain out of there? I could have you have a walk-in incubator. I could have a walk-in sink, pressure washer that I just stand in, and it drains right to the floor. That's one of the bays. That's where I'm going to clean the rodent stuff.
We're kind of doing that with the sink that is the tub cleaning sink. It's kind of like this massive.
It's going to be a surprise when I do.
It's a surprise.
It's a big sink. We'll show it to you.
All right, cool. I'm into sink pics. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
But the floor is going to be probably polyaspartame solidly. Craig would know. He's the one that I got the idea from. He said something about polyaspartamic floor coating.
Oh, now I have a floor guy. I'm gonna have to quiz him on what kind I got.
Yeah, so it's like a moisture barrier, and it's polyurea. It's like a
here it is, polyaspartic.
Yeah.
Polyaspartic. All right. Now I got to ask my floor guy, because he's
like epoxy, but it's better, a little bit better.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask him. The floor was what that guy got in touch with me about, and it turns out that he's a professional framer. So I mean, it just was like the stars just aligned where I was like, oh my gosh, you're like perfect. So I just talked to him today. I think we're 3 weeks from today, we're going to try and start on the floor. I should have, I had to get my inspection on the spray foam and then get all the sheetrock put in and the ceiling. And then I'm going to have to run the wires. I got some questions about the wires. I'm going to have to jump into that in a minute here. But yeah, I think 3 weeks from today and get the floor in. And then that means a month from today, I should be able to start moving rodents in, is what I think. I'm pretty excited about that. Let's get really nerdy for a minute. What circuits are you running? How many amps? And then of course, what's the appropriate wire to go with it?
Yeah, we put as much as we could in there, it's only 200 amps, which I would have liked to get the 400 amp.
We were trying to get
there,
400,
but the builder out there, he's like, that would just be
overkill.
a whole different.
We'd have to have a separate utility thing.
Yeah, separate utility, and then if people started looking at it, the right people started looking at it, they might come and tell us we can't do that.
Oh, you'd have to get your
kind of deal.
You'd have to get your government buddies involved to bail you out.
Yeah, so like it just turns into like a commercial facility instead of just a. It's just a garage, outbuilding attached to the house, sort of thing. Yeah. So I did. So we're just doing 200 amps, and I think I did the math. I added it all up, and I think if everything's maxed out, if we fill it up with racks and everything, and everything is on all at the same time, I think we're right there at about 200 amps. So
really
safe-ish.
That seems like a lot. How many racks you got going in this place?
Can we fit in the snake room?
We could fit.
We have
a 40 by 12 room for snakes, so I think you could fit a little like 12. I think about 12 racks.
ARS.
In there.
Yeah. And that would pull 200. That would pull 200 amps.
Just 12. I feel like it could fit more. I'm like Tetris though.
But that plus the other rest of the stuff in the building, like the air conditioning and the refrigerator out there,
Yeah, that's true.
Other racks for other reptiles.
Geckos.
Geckos.
Yeah,
a whole separate gecko room.
And I forget how fast I forget the brutal heat of the south. Like I'm worried about heating up, which with natural gas is much more efficient than the amount.
We have natural gas. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have that
nice. But for your outlet circuit, so you running 20 amp circuits. What are you running? Or do you know yet?
They're 15, but they could be. Oh, yeah. The breakers I think are 20 amps. So I think the plugs are 15 amps. Like they're rated. So
gotcha. And then are you doing it like bathroom wiring code, like the 12 gauge and GFCI outlets or not?
I don't think we're going to do GFCI, except for there is a small bathroom in there. In there, there'll probably be a GFCI. Yeah. I'm putting an outdoor plug in there actually, but no GFCI as far as I know. But we're putting them all the plugs real high.
Yeah,
and I think that the code's a lot different for an outbuilding than it is for the house. Like where the house we have GFCI all over the place, but that you need it in the bathrooms and stuff. But for that outbuilding, it's pretty loose on the codes. It's what they're said. So
I gotcha. Yeah. See, I'm in the commercial setting, and these codes are. Yeah. I'm going around it. I got myself in a situation where I've either got to pay money to get a consultant to prove the inspector wrong, or I got to pay even more money to do what the inspector says when I'm convinced. And nobody understands, like, this particular question is about ventilation, but no, they'll roll their eyes when I say, no, this is going to be a highly functioning, highly dialed in reptile environment that has to be very, very precise. He took it to mean like I wasn't going to have ventilation. I'm like, you're out of your mind. I'm allergic to rodents. Of course I'm going to have ventilation in here. You would die in here if you didn't have ventilation. And anyway, so they have these things called the heat rescue, like the heat exchanges that take the heat out of the air so that you're not pumping cold air into your warm area in the wintertime. And I'm like, I need the cold air coming in. I can't have thousands of rodents in a room that's already heated from the floor up. I need the cold air. And I was like, you're going to make me rescue hot air and then run an AC in the middle of winter when there's plenty cold air 12 inches on the other side of that wall. And he's like, that's just the code. And I'm like, no, it's absolutely not. Anyhow, I just had to vent for a minute.
HVAC is the bane of my existence
that
right now.
has been our worst thing on this whole build.
Mostly in the house, it's pretty rough. But I met with a guy for the facility and the enclosure, and
trademark.
He's like, so you want this room to be hot, but you want this room to be cold, and that room creates a lot of heat. So you want he's like, and I'm like, yeah, it's pretty simple. You just I want to put just dampers in each room so that if air conditioner's on in the summertime, and I can close the damper on the snake rooms and keep it warm, but open it wide up in the rat room so that it keeps it. I don't know, but it's very confusing to the HVAC people, and they're like, and you want to keep this whole building conditioned too, and I'm like, I don't want it to get super hot out here. I gotta I'm doing a lot of work out here, so I mean, yeah. But I was like, it doesn't have to be 70 degrees; it could be 72.
Yeah, I had to lay out. All right, the air's going to come. I want the coldest air to come into the ASF room, and then I want to filter that, and that'll be the fresh air that comes into the snake room. So it's already a little bit warm, and then actually I want to pull in from the pump room, which is still running the car wash. So there's less. It's warmer air, but it's still fresh air coming in, and they're like, this is crazy. You have to get a contractor out here for this. And I'm like, I'm going to explain the same thing to the contractor. And anyhow, the contractor's like, yeah, you don't need to keep you don't need one of these heat rescues, because it's an efficiency law as well. He's like, that's going to work against everything you're doing. And I'm like, yeah. And it's going to be even more energy inefficient, because I'm going to be running a mini split on AC in the middle of the winter. If he holds me to this. He's like, all right, I'll talk to him. I'm like, okay. Well, so I don't know. We're in the middle of that right now. Or I'm like, anyhow, that's why I'm asking some of these really nerdy questions, which amazingly the audience is sitting through. Our guest count has gone up, which is great. So we'll just keep up on this. And
yeah, there's they're giving us some stuff about the
I'm just waiting for an AC guy to come on here and be like, hey now.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I like the AC guys. Actually, this guy is saving my butt. It's the inspectors that have and I've got experience with health inspectors, so I understand the relationships, and I am doing it right. I didn't just try and fly under his radar, but yeah, I have some commercial stuff where I'm just like, look, man, it's going to be me, the guy that works with me, and customers by appointment only. There's not like high traffic. I'm like, this is not a traditional commercial retail setting, and they don't care. So now I feel like I have to think of a neat name like the enclosure.
You cannot take that.
I wouldn't. I would not do. I am competitive. I can even be aggressive sometimes, but I'm not underhanded. I promise you that. I assure you of that. I will not do that.
Is it just for rats? This is just for talking about?
No. Okay. So I bought a perfectly fine functioning car wash. It's 3 bays, and one of the bays I'm converting to, now that's only 480 square feet. It's 16 by 30, and that will be rodents and reptiles to start. And there'll be, basically it'll be 2 rooms, except the front of one of the rooms is going to be like the kitchen walk-in cooler, plastic curtains, like the air curtain. So it's not airtight, but I want to keep the rodent dust behind that curtain. What?
With hanging bodies. That's what I think of with those plastic curtains. Is the hanging bodies at a haunted house?
Oh, I was like, hanging bodies? What restaurant did you work in?
No, haunted houses.
Okay. Yeah, it's like those, you kind of pull them open, you go in, but it'll create a little bit of a thermal barrier, but it won't be airtight. So I can still get airflow, and I could still filter out the rodents. So the rodent side will be behind that, and then the other side will be all snakes. And then we'll see. I need to see, does the car wash make money and I keep that open, and then I eventually find a separate rodent facility and turn that into just snakes? Or does the car wash suck and I close another bay and convert that and keep the 3rd bay as my walk-in sink.
You should do like a petting zoo kind of thing with the car wash. Like with your car wash, you get $5 off to pet some rats or something. I don't know.
While the parents are cleaning the car,
somehow
the kids can be petting the rats.
Yeah,
I know. I don't know how it's all going to go down. This is I don't know. Stepping out into the public with these animals is a little bit concerning to me. I went through the town permitting process. Yeah, I mean, I'm on the up and up. So I mean, people are going to figure it out, but. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's a 2-for-1 special. Buy 2 car washes and get 10% off your ball python. I don't know.
There you go.
Yeah. Anyway, what you explained there about the 1 bay for the stuff. If you want to do this, then you can do that, and then or build a whole nother thing. That's why we built the big one. We'll never outgrow that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I hope not.
And well, no, maybe you got to dream big. Maybe you will outgrow it, and it'll be an amazing thing if you do.
Well, so we're actually parking our camper in there too.
Yeah.
For now, like our camp, there's a big open part. So technically, if we ever need to expand, there's a whole nother. What is it? The whole rest of it.
Yeah, really.
It's huge. There's plenty of room.
There's about 1,200
There's an upstairs
square feet.
too. You can even build in the upstairs.
There's about 1,200 feet of square feet of actual good usable area, and the rest is kind of open for everything else. So about 500 square feet for the rats and 500 square feet for the snakes, and then we have another 200 square foot office, or that could be like a quarantine room, and that's where the incubator is, though. So I don't know if I'm gonna use it as a quarantine room, but
somebody's asking about the ventilating for the rodent room.
Yeah, that's Bert. He's down in South Minnesota. Bert, I'll definitely be doing videos on it and whatnot. And I'll probably do videos on how I fail at it, but I'll eventually figure it out. But you guys got to come hang out. I got to do like a little christening or something. It's not a really good party space at the car wash, but anyhow, we'll do a weekend event up here at some point. I always make a point of saying that people have different resources and different goals and different outlooks. If I had the resources to just build it outright, I absolutely would, but I had to find a way, or I didn't have to. It was a whole lot more feasible for me and I didn't draw this up this way. I just stumbled into it and I kind of figured it out. But the car wash, so just to be really transparent, the mortgage on the car wash is $1,400. If those 2 bays will make $1,400 a month, I get the 3rd bay for free. You see? So that was sort of my cash flow financing net worth crazy calculations that I always put myself through. But that made it easier on the household to say, wait a minute, this makes sense, rather than just drop the chunk of money and then spend however long trying to make it back. So no knock on you guys at all, because you're right, to your point. Hopefully it won't be too long before I have to answer that question of what am I going to do to expand beyond 480 square feet. Hopefully, but for now it worked for me. And if it makes, the hard part about the car wash is it's so old school. It's all cash. It's all quarters. I don't even have a credit card reader in the place. So the negotiations with the guy to buy it, I was like, let me see your books. He's like, there's no books. And I'm like, what kind of money is this to? And he's like, 30,000. I was like, what'd you do? You've owned it 30 years. What did it do 10 years ago? He's like, 30,000. I was like, get out of here, man. So I don't really know what all it's going to do. So far it's doing okay. It's the middle of winter though, so we'll see. But that's a great example of just different resources, different priorities, and that kind of thing. So what's the next show you guys are going to be at?
South Haven. It's a CF exotic show in Mississippi.
Right next to Memphis, Tennessee, just south of Memphis. Yes.
Oh, that's crazy. No, that's the last place my grandparents lived. There's a old folks home, elderly. elderly care center. They died in that place, in South Haven was where they lived. That's where they dearly departed.
That's
Crazy. I've been there once in my life for a funeral. That's it.
What is it, Elvis Presley's home? Is that what it's known for?
I don't know.
Not Dolly Parton, but the other one, something land. You know. Oh, come on. Carbons will know. What is it? Graceland. Lower.
Oh,
Graceland.
is that?
That's what they're known for.
In South Haven is Graceland? I thought that was in Memphis.
Somewhere near it.
We saw there. Wow.
Signs for it, and it was closing down or something. Oh, I was right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think there's a family dispute over it, or who's going to own it, or whatever on there. Yeah. Sorry, that one really. Yeah, it is Lower Memphis. Yeah.
What's our next one? I mean, I'm pretty sure
Tennessee, Lebanon.
We're overdoing it. Yeah. Then Lebanon, Tennessee, show. I mean, like almost back to back.
They are back to back. Those ones are the next 2 weekends.
It's gonna be rough.
But then we get off for a little while.
Like 2 weeks.
We got a Gadsden show, and then but then when the Slidell and then Charlotte are back to back too. That's going to be a hard 2 weeks.
That's a big stretch. Yeah, Slidell, Louisiana to Charlotte, huh?
6 hours one way and then 7 hours the other way. So
okay,
pretty tough 2 weeks, but it'll be interesting.
And then some of the bigger ones. You'll do Southeast Reptile Expo in Atlanta.
The Charlotte one is also that, right? Oh, Charlotte. Southeast.
We don't do the Southeast.
No, we okay. But the Georgia, all the fees and stuff you have to pay and rules and everything. It's just like, I don't know. If I knew that I was gonna like make all that money on one show, then I'd be like, let's do it. Yeah, but we might actually go to that show. Yeah. We went to the last one. It was a really good show. We just like going and saying hi to everybody.
Right. Hey, let me ask you, we got about 3 minutes, and because we all talked about our kids and family, we got to get going here in a minute, but you guys vended Daytona. What was your experience like coming from out of state to vend Daytona? I know it's a pain in Florida to get an FWC license. What was that like for you guys outside of Florida?
It's not that bad.
No?
I think last year they did the online registration and everything. So
2024, they decided, hey, let's get rid of the mail. Yeah, that's exactly true. Go ahead. Sorry.
So there wasn't. I thought it was pretty easy actually, but the only tricky part was that you had to do the ESC license, but then also an import license, the free one, which was on the website. It wasn't very clear, so it was like it said one or the other. But I was like, well, I'll just do both just in case. Just to be safe.
You need both.
They were kicking people out for not having the import license, which was like
free.
The free one that you can just say, hey, I'm bringing these in, and they're like, okay.
Yeah. They are, in my experience, they're very inconsistent on their knowledge within their own organization, their implementation, and their questions as well. Anyhow,
crazy part about that one though too is I read all about it, and I was like, if you're going on vacation to Florida and you're bringing your dog, you have to get that license.
Technically, any animal coming in has to be. Nobody's importing their dog. Like,
that was crazy.
All right, well, guys, thank you so much for being on the show. Audience, go out and see Beauty and the Balls all over the Southeast. You got to check them out and give them a little bit of support and love. And you guys said you'll be traveling to Tinley for fun as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, cool. You got to come. Come hang out and have a little fun while you're up there too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Well, thank you so much, audience. Next week, I got Brett from not from Beauty and the Balls, from Jersey Guys Balls. They will be on the show next week, same time, same place, and I'll see you Thursday morning with Joe, Jason, Whitney. Thank you all very much. I'll see you soon. I moved around all my media and stuff. I don't have a tight ending yet. I'll see you soon. Thanks for being here. Stick around in the green room for just a second. All right.
Thanks.